is it's February 10th, 2020. I don't really know why I'm recording this. I guess I just want to share my story a little bit of the last few months. My wife and I, we've been married for 10 years. We've actually been together for pretty close to 16. But we've been married for 10. Our anniversary was October 17th. Beginning of October last year, 2019, her first husband reached out to her on Facebook Messenger, I guess, and they divorced 20 years ago. She was 20 years old. They'd been married for 2 years. So anyway, beginning of October, he reached out. He says he's a new man, a man of God, and he felt like he was being led to apologize for the way he treated her back when they were married. To my understanding, he didn't cheat on her during the marriage. Prior to, he did, but during the marriage, he just, I guess, from what she said, he just mistreated her, and so she kicked him out, and they got a divorce. They were 20 years old. So beginning October, he reaches out to her and tells her he felt like he was being led to apologize to her for the way he treated her 20 years ago, and that was that. And she mentioned it to me the night that he messaged her. She said, "This is really weird. He just messaged me, and something I haven't thought about in a long, long time, and I forgave him years ago." Okay. Well, it's kind of weird that he reached out, but okay. And then she says, "Well, this is bringing up a lot of emotions that I haven't felt in a long time, and I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this." And I said, "Well, maybe there's an opportunity for you to grow as a person and grow in your faith. Our faith has been really important to us for some time now. We've been attending our church for over 6 years, and we're the youth leaders at our church, ministering to the teens. I taught Sunday school for the adults. We've taken the teens on a couple Winterfest excursions to Indianapolis for our church. And anyway, so I said, maybe there's an opportunity for you to grow spiritually and emotionally as a person. And she says, "Well, that could very well be. It's something, though, that I need to deal with on my own." Okay. So she needs to deal with it on her own. So I took that to mean leave her alone about it. And so I did. I gave her space. And then 2 weeks later, we went to Niagara Falls to celebrate our 10th wedding anniversary. So anniversaries were never really big to us to celebrate. This was actually our first anniversary we've ever celebrated. So we decided we'd go to Niagara Falls to celebrate, and had a great time. Did all the touristy stuff. Had some nice meals and took a lot of pictures, and just had a really nice time. And I told her on the trip how much I loved her, and how I've always loved traveling with her. She's just always been the best traveling companion. We've traveled to, we went to Mexico on our honeymoon. We traveled to San Diego from Michigan one time. That was entertaining. We went on a mission trip to South Africa for a couple weeks. Done some road trips. Just really enjoyed traveling with her. And I told her that on our trip to Niagara Falls. And then a couple weeks after that, it's right before Halloween, I think the Tuesday before Halloween, she sits me down and tells me that she and this guy never stopped communicating. after the night he reached out, that they've been messaging ever since. And I come to find out also that they were talking on the phone in addition to messaging. So she sits me down. We need to talk. That dreaded conversation that every guy hates to hear. She sits me down and tells me that they're still messaging, and she's in love with him. Okay. Well, fill me in. What's going on? Well, we never stopped talking. Okay. Stop. Delete him from your phone. I don't want to. I want to keep talking to him. He makes me feel ways that I've not felt for a long time. You know, there's just a lot that I buried deep down so nobody would ever know. Things that I've hidden from everyone, including you. And he makes me feel good. I said, well, you're having an affair. You're having an emotional affair. You're cheating on me emotionally with this guy. Yes, I am. Okay, it needs to stop right now. I don't want it to. I'm in love with him. Well, if you're in love with him, then you can't be in love with me, because you can't be in love with two people at the same time. Well, no, I don't think that's true. What? You cannot love him and love me at the same time. That's just not how it works. Okay, so if you love him, if you're in love with him, you're not in love with me. Yeah, I guess you're right. And I'm in love with him. Okay, so you're not in love with me then. Okay. Start talking about going to therapy. We need to get into therapy. I will do whatever it takes to save this marriage. I'm telling her this. You are worth the fight to save this marriage. I love you, and I want this marriage to work, and I will do whatever it takes. I will go to hell and back to fight for this marriage. And call our pastor, and he comes over that night. Call our pastor that night. He comes over, and he's a little bit floored. Didn't really expect to hear all this coming from us. And he said we definitely needed to get into some intensive therapy, and we did not need to step down from being the youth leaders if we were actively working on fixing the marriage, fixing the relationship. And I don't remember what else he said, but he ended up leaving, and I just reiterated to her again, I'm willing to fight for this. I want our marriage to work. I love you, and I care about you, and let's do what we have to do to save this. And I don't remember if I slept on the couch that night or not. I don't remember. But a couple nights later, she met with pastor's wife, and was gone for several hours. I did fall asleep on the couch, but I was waiting up for her. And she came home and knelt down next to me at the couch, woke me up, and tears in her eyes, tells me I'm in love with you. I'm not in love with him. He's gone. I deleted him from my phone. I will never reach out to him again. I love you, and I am in love with you. My eyes have been opened. I was deceived by the devil, and you are worth this marriage. You are worth the fight, and I'm willing to do whatever I have to do to fight for this marriage because I love you. And I said, well, let's do this then. Let's get into some therapy and fight. Let's fight for this marriage. And I think that was Friday. So I think that was the night after Halloween. So I think November 1st. And it was just a great feeling knowing that she was back. You know, that whatever was clouding her judgment was gone. And just a great feeling. So told her how much I loved her, and let's start making some phone calls to get into therapy. And the next morning she reached back out to him. Saturday morning, the very next day, she reached back out to him, and they picked up right where they left off the day prior. And she doesn't tell me right away that she did that she reached back out. I don't know what prompted her to tell me. But at this point, she's already hidden the relationship from me for a month. I mean, we went on our anniversary while they were talking. You know, we went to Niagara Falls, spent a bunch of money on this trip, while she's having an emotional affair behind my back. So about a week goes by, so we're in the first week in November, and she tells me that the next weekend, so the second weekend in November, there's a church overnight coming up for women's ministry, which is not altogether out of the ordinary for our church. She says it's 2 hours south in Ohio. That's a little unusual. Our church doesn't venture too much into Ohio. No particular reason why, just we don't. And 2 hours away is a little bit of a distance. I have no reason to trust her at this point, but I want to. I love her. She's my wife. I want to trust her, even though I have no reason to. And it makes me really nervous that she's talking about this. So I ask, well, you know, who all from church is going with you? Nobody. Who from church knows about it? Nobody. Nobody from church even knows about this event. No, but I really feel it's something that I need to do. Okay? Okay, well, if it's something that you feel is going to help you spiritually with all the stuff that's going on, I'm all for you going. You know, go. Get stuff out of it. Have a good time. Still seemed odd to me. But I wanted to trust her. I wanted to have faith in her. And I wanted to believe she was on the up and up with me. And so she goes to the overnight. She called me that night, I think, and you know, hey, how's it going? Good. Are you getting anything out of it? Yeah. What are they talking about? You know, just very vague answers. It seemed odd. So the next morning, I'm texting her, you know, hey, how's it going? Are you having a good time? Are you getting anything out of it? Yeah, service is about to start. I gotta go. Okay. And about 20 minutes later, I turn on Spotify on my phone, and she was paying for the premium, and I had the sign on my phone. So if I turned on Spotify while she was using it, it would show, well, we can only play music on one device at a time. And so about 20 minutes later, I go to turn on music, and her phone is playing, which is, well, that's odd. She said 20 minutes ago that service was about to start, so why does she have her phone playing music? That's odd. And so then she ends up calling a couple hours later, and how'd it go? It was good. What was the lesson about? Well, aligning our hearts with God. Anything else? What else did the speakers say? No, that was about it. Just aligning our hearts with God. She's always had a lot more to say after a weekend away from a church event. She's usually just really filled with the Holy Spirit and just full of energy about the stuff that she heard and the stuff that the speaker said. So it was odd. And well, when are you going to be home? Well, in a little bit. I'm just coming up on some traffic on Willis Road. Well, Willis Road is about 20 minutes north of where we live. And she said she was 2 hours south in Ohio, where the event was. So I said, well, Willis Road, I thought the event was in Ohio. Oh, 223. I don't know why I said Willis Road. I meant 223. And something's not right. So she came home and was just still very vague about the trip. And just gave me a really sick feeling about what she was doing. And meanwhile, I'm with our kids. We have kids. We have one biologically, and then we were foster parents for about 4.5 years. And in those 4.5 years, we've had 6 foster kids come through our house. And at this point in time that I'm telling you all this, we had adopted 2 of them, and we were right on the cusp of adopting a 3rd that had been with us for over 2 years. Right on the cusp of it. So, I'm taking care of the kids while she's off on this church trip that something isn't right about. And the next day, or maybe 2 days later, I don't remember, I asked her about this guy. Is he really in Texas? Which is where she says he is. Yeah, he's in Texas. Why do you ask? Well, something's not right with this church trip he went on. There's just some red flags going off here, and something isn't right. And so I just wanted to know if he was really in Texas. Yep, he is in Texas. Okay. All right. That's fine. I just wanted to know. I wanted to ask. Sorry. And kind of let it go from there. Seems like a good stopping point. Maybe I'll pick up more. Maybe I'll pick up more later. But it seems like a good start. I feel like I'm leaving stuff out, but it's not on purpose. It's just what I remember from 4 months ago.